Primary schools.
It's part of a government initiative to tackle domestic abuse. We've been hearing from a woman from Norfolk who was badly injured in an attack by her former partner. And we should warn you that her account of what happened to her is rather shocking. A significant thrust of this new campaign is for primary school children to be taught about the problems that can lead to domestic abuse. But is it right to expose the very young? Well, Malcolm Robertson has our report.
For almost 10 years, Rita Crombie lived a lie, pretending her life was OK when in reality it was anything but. Today she told me how she'd been the victim of domestic violence and how 2 years ago she almost lost her life, suffering a horrific attack that led to her partner receiving an indeterminate jail sentence after being convicted of grievous bodily harm with intent to kill. Today Rita lent her weight to a local campaign in Norfolk that forms part of a national strategy in which school children from the age of 5 will be taught that domestic violence against women and children is unacceptable. At Cygate Primary School in Ipswich, they've been doing that for some time.
We regularly teach children about how to deal with arguments, about how to be a good friend, about what happens if you're bullying and what to do if you're being bullied. And in assemblies, we'll regularly tell them that, that actually violence doesn't ever solve problems, it creates problems.
But is the age of 5 too young to be confronted by such serious matters? These were the views of people in Milton Keynes today.
I think it's a brilliant idea, actually, I really do. And starting at a young age so it actually gets in their head.
Brilliant idea. Why didn't they do it 10 years ago?
It's important they know the truth.
Rita Crombie believes that young children should be made aware, and that would enable them to recognise telltale signs that a mother might be unable or unwilling to acknowledge. The injuries inflicted on her were shocking. She was attacked with a knife while lying in bed.
I was too scared to act because of the consequences to me or to my children. Until in the end I had no friends and no family. I think of the pain my children went through seeing it. I think of the pain I put my children through because of my own fear and because of my own inadequacy to get out, because I was too scared to get out. I didn't believe the help was there, but the help is there for the women. They can, and at the early signs get out, don't end up like I did.
International White Ribbon Day signifies a global campaign against domestic abuse, encouraging people they don't have to suffer in silence. Rita Crombie can talk about it now. She has a new partner and is looking to the future, but she believes the mental scars will stay with her forever. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News.
Well, next tonight, the widow of an army bomb disposal expert from Essex killed in an explosion in Afghanistan has described him as an amazing man who had a smile and a joke for everyone he met.
28-year-old Corporal Lauren Martin Thomas served with the 3-3 Regiment based at Wimbish near Saffron Walden. He died 9 days ago while searching for roadside bombs near a base in Helmand province. Claire McGlasson has this report.
Seeing her husband's coffin was the moment the truth hit her. Corporal Martin Thomas had been killed in action. He was just 28.
Some of his fellow soldiers who knew Lauren actually carried him off the plane and into the hearse, and I think that's when it sort of hit me. And that was probably the hardest moment.
It was on the 15th of November, just 2 months after he was deployed to Afghanistan, that he was caught in an explosion.
You know, everybody he met, he always had a smile for everybody or a little joke, or he was just a really wonderful man.
He was serving with 3-3 Engineer Regiment, based at Wimbish near Saffron Walden, doing one of the most dangerous jobs in Afghanistan, searching for homemade bombs. Corporal Martin Thomas was the first soldier this regiment has lost in Afghanistan, but the total number of military personnel killed there now stands at 235. On the same day as the explosion which killed him, rifleman Andrew Fentman from Cambridge was shot while on patrol.
Obviously I'd rather have my husband with me, but the army was his life. He loved the job that he did. He was very proud of the job that he did, and all the IEDs that he found will have saved, you know, another 100 lives.
A sacrifice his comrades won't forget. Claire McGlasson, Anglia News, Wimbish, near Saffron Walden.
Doctors have confirmed that a 5-year-old boy from Olney near Milton Keynes who died last weekend had contracted swine flu. NHS Milton Keynes said further tests had been ordered to find out whether the boy from Olney in Buckinghamshire died of the H1N1 virus or from another health condition. The boy's school at nearby Emberton was shut on Monday.
It's still not clear tonight if Vauxhall workers in Luton will be affected by General Motors cutting 9,000 jobs across Europe. The company has confirmed that 60% of the job losses will be in Germany and that the future of their Belgian plant is also under review. But there's been no mention of jobs at Luton or Ellesmere Port. Right, do stay with us. There's still plenty more to come tonight.
We're at the headquarters. More news now, and 2 cousins from Essex have lost their final High Court battle against extradition to Cyprus.
Yes, Luke Atkinson from Witham and Michael Binnington from Great Totham will now be flown to Cyprus within days to begin 3-year sentences for manslaughter. Lorna Ramsey has this report.
For Michael Binnington and Luke Atkinson, their days of freedom are running out fast. Today they lost their High Court appeal to serve their 3-year sentences in this country. Now they'll be extradited to Cyprus within 10 days.
We don't want to do the sentence, but we have to. We've got no other choice now, so it's just a case of trying not to delay the inevitable too much now. We just need to make a start and get it done.
Binnington and Atkinson were passengers in a car driven by their uncle Julian Harrington when it was involved in a crash with Christos Paprice's moped in 2006. He's serving a 15-year sentence after admitting manslaughter. The cousins were originally cleared of manslaughter but were convicted in their absence after their uncle appealed against his sentence. They thought they were going to be extradited 12 days ago, but it was stopped shortly after they left Witham railway station for London, after a last-minute injunction against their extradition was granted.
When we got the injunction a couple of weeks ago, I honestly thought something positive might come out of it. Perhaps we should have known this was going to happen, and it's just delayed another 2 weeks wasted of what we could have probably been started to serve.
Fair Trials International say extradition is pointless because the cousins will end up returning to this country to serve their sentences.
It could take several months following their extradition before Luke and Michael return to the UK to serve the remainder of their prison sentences here. We will be writing to Jack Straw, the Justice Secretary, this week to request that he speeds up that transfer so they're back in the UK as soon as possible.
Atkinson and Binnington know their jail sentences are inevitable and they want to start serving their time as soon as possible. Lorna Ramsey, Anglia News, Great Totham.
A 59-year-old man has been charged with the murder of a woman in Suffolk. 53-year-old Sharon Green was found with stab wounds at her home in Malsford near Wickham Market last Friday. Her husband was arrested after crashing a van on the A12 around 5 miles away. Bomb squad officers have today found suspected live hand grenades at their house, but it has now been declared safe.
A pub landlord in Bury St Edmunds has received an apology from the Conservative peer Lord Tebbit after a row over wine bottles. The former Tory party chairman has just moved to Suffolk and mistakenly assumed that empty bottles left outside of his house had come from the nearby Queen's Head. Well, Lord Tebbit put them on the pub's windowsill, only to be told that the pub didn't actually stock those brands. He's since apologised, explaining it had been a difficult day for him, being the 25th anniversary of the Brighton bombing when the IRA attack left his wife Margaret a wheelchair user.
We do our very best to sort of keep litter away from the residents and run a good ship, and everyone's entitled to a bad day, and that's a particularly good reason to have a bad day.
Well, on to sport now and the future of